Okay. Me and my mother had a very open and honest relationship, and she understood about the movement. She knew that I had been brutalized by the police, my head busted open and everything. She knows that when I was 6 years old and we were living in a neighborhood where we were the first people of color to move in, and kids wouldn't play with me and call me a nigger. And when I came home and asked her what the word meant, and she explained it to me, I started crying. And I wasn't allowed to play with those kids because their parents didn't want me coming to their backyard. And even though we had a huge backyard with a tree that I could climb up in, I was building a tree house and everything. Their parents forbid them to hang out with the little nigger. So my father was like, I'm Mohawk and these people are still calling me nigga. So, don't let that get you down, son. But all these experiences had the effect on me. I wanted to be a pilot. That was my goal. They told me that the only thing that I could be when I grew up was a garbage collector, a mechanic, or something like that. That's what my school counselor told me in junior high school. So because of all these things, my mother understood why I had a rebellious attitude, and she knew that initially my involvement with the Black Panthers was very positive in getting free food from stores to feed hungry kids and selling newspapers. And then I became popular in the Black Panther Party. I sold one day the most papers out of anybody from all five boroughs in New York City. The most papers of one single individual, over 3,000 papers, and then I wrote an article, Pigs Running Amok in Jamaica, because they kept harassing me and then they tried to take my papers from me. So I wrote a Captain John said, write about it. I said, man, I ain't gonna put no article in the paper. I was only 14 years old. He said, man, write an article. And once I wrote that article and Berkeley, California published my article and had my picture in the paper, like this, Black Panther Party in the newspapers, I was like, yo, I was the man. I was the hero. I was like well known. And when I put my black beret on, my black leather jacket, my shirt, my combat boots, my black army fatigue pants and walked down, turned heads. People backed up. Then we had conflict with the black Muslims, so-called black Muslims, followers of Elijah Muhammad, okay? Because I had a spot in the bus stop, bus terminal, where I was able to move a lot of papers with the school kids. So they tried to run me up out of there. They seen I was by myself and it was for them. They gonna tell me I can't sell papers in there. So I didn't pay them no mind. So one of them tried to grab me, and I was martial art deadly at that time. At 14, I had trophies, had fought all up and down the East Coast, karate and jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? It was black belt, first degree and second degree. Anyway, I put it on them. So they got on the payphone or whatever, all damaged up, to call for their crew. So I didn't know how many was calling. I told Captain John. So when they came with two cars, I think it was like 8 of them. Captain John came with 20 brothers and sisters, okay, and they marching. Power to the people, off the pigs, stuff like that, and I felt good that they came to my aid, and Captain John resolved the incident. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was a Green Beret, Sergeant Special Forces and stuff, deadly, deadly. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could beat him, you know what I'm saying? And he was a sniper, but he was always a man of trying to deal with peace with his own people in the community, and we worked that out. Okay, anyway, moving right along, I decided that I was going to be honest with my mother and just tell her what happened. I was going to see how truthful I could really be. Okay, so when I got to my block, which was in Jamaica, Queens, okay, it was in Jamaica, Queens. Um, I got out the cab, went up in the house, and I knew that my mother would be in the house pretty soon, So um, before she came, my homeboy Mike kept ringing the bell, because he knew that I was there. And he knew that I always had money. My homie always wanted to get money from me, or just hang, but he wasn't a panther, but I didn't want to see him because I still didn't know exactly how much I had left in that shopping bag. I didn't split it up and count it. I just was like everything in it. So then I was thinking, I said, maybe I should first I had to call Captain John and tell him to come over to the building because I had to clean out the guns. All right, I had a total of 32 pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and I still had one hand grenade. I had flash hiders, all kind of stuff. But anyway, getting back to the story, um, Mr. Joe, okay, who was Italian, he was one of the ones that rented the Black Panthers, the headquarters, and the Black Panther apartment because I had asked him. Mr. Joe didn't like the idea at first, but he said he would do it because I'm his godson, and I asked him for a favor. When Captain John heard this, it blew his mind. A lot of the Panthers in the ranks didn't believe that Mr. Joe Validolo, a well-known and respected mob boss in Queens, would help the Black Panther Party. At the time, Mr. Joe was in his 60s and considered himself retired, but he owned half the real estate in Jamaica, and that was no job. He owned all the stores that blacks and whites and everybody, grocery stores, supermarket, pet shop, even the place that I used to take pigeons from when I was a kid. He owned that. Okay, I said, Mr. Joe, you like the monopoly guy, you know what I'm saying? You own every piece of major land on the monopoly board. He said more than that. But anyway, he owned all his property, and I knew at the time that he was still taking in a large percent of the tribute money from the family who were controlling the gambling numbers, prostitutes, rackets in sections of Queens, especially Jamaica and especially Jamaica, St. Albans area. Mr. Joe, my godfather, was still the man, a real old gangster, but a real one with a good heart. Okay, and when I was a kid of the age of 9 years old, my mother got me a job working there during the summer because I wanted a bicycle. And somebody stole mine, so they wouldn't buy me a bike. They said I had to work for it. Mr. Joe paid me $10 a week to work in his laundromat. Okay, I worked there that summer, and when the summer was over, he used to let me come and work after school. Get to the point and make this even briefer is that some fools, okay, had the audacity from another neighborhood, two tall black guys came in there. Mr. Joe used to walk around with knots of money like this in his pocket, baggy pants, okay, beat up shoes, a old shirt like he was like a bum, And what I used to have to do, take the clothes, put them in a big laundromat, in the washers, and then stand on top on a ladder and pour soap powder and bleach in it. And he would do the same thing, whatever, but I would do most of that. And then the clothes would wash. When after they wash, I would take the basket, take them out, put them in the basket, and go to the big giant dryers, put them in the dryers. After that, then I used to have to take them out and fold everybody's clothes up. That's how they got their clothes, folded, fresh, and neat, And people paid them in cash. We didn't do any more any more deliveries. So the two guys came in. One guy asked for a change of a 20. Joe gave it to him. They seen the money. So Mr. Joe told me, he said, keep my eyes open because it might be trouble. And I was like, what? You know? And just as he told me that, he was going to the back to get his pistol. And he showed me a pistol I had never seen before or never seen after. And it was a 32 nickel-plated revolver that had a button on the side that had a switchblade that popped out from underneath. Okay, and it was a 6-shot revolver. And I said, why the knife? He said, because if I don't want to shoot him, I stab him. He says, very rare gun. Okay, so when he went to go get his gun, that's when the guy came in. The first guy came in and ran in the back and caught him, okay, and put the gun to his neck. And he tried to struggle a little bit, and the guy hit him on the side of his head. I was on top of the ladder pouring bleach into the machine, and the other guy said, yo, kid, get down off that ladder before I bust your ass, right? And then when he heard the noise in the back, you know, he looked out the door first to come back in. And I don't know what made me do this, but I had this half a big gallon of bleach, and I just threw it in his face. And when I threw it in his face, he screamed like a bitch. Ah! And he had a knife. He dropped his knife, and he was like bumping into stuff. And that gave Mr. Joe the opportunity to boom, 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 bang the dude that he was in the back with. The dude dropped the gun. Mr. Joe kicked it to the side. The guy ran out. Okay, he left his partner like on the thing with stairs. His partner was falling down the stairs. Next to us was Black Muslim store. Okay, they used to shine shoes, sell bean pies, right? They ran over to his aid. Mr. Joe ran to the phone in the back, started talking Italian, okay, got his pistol, ran down the stairs, jumped in his Cadillac, and he told me, don't let nobody else in, lock the door and stay there. Boom, and then he ran after these dudes, all right? As he was going for like almost 20-something minutes, 2 cars pulled up, bang, bang, bang on the door. Italian dudes, like sharp dressing dudes, open up the door, you know, and they said, what happened? Get over there. Like they thought I was like, you know, somebody that was being locked in and held or whatever, right? So then anyway, to move it on up, that when Mr. Joe came back, okay, he had the dude's hat and he had the dude's he had the pistol, all that came back, and they were speaking Italian. Mr. Joe was Sicilian, you know what I'm saying? And he showed me gunshot wounds, and you know, he told me back in the days he was like, but now he retired, you know, but he had the power. But anyway, about 8 or 9 cars pulled up. They all came up and they was looking at me crazy. And when he told them in Italian what I did, they came and they shook my hand, and almost every single one of them gave me $20 bill, $10 bill, and one of them gave me a $50 bill. You know, and they always like, if I never need anything, blah, 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 tell Mr. Joe, and that's when he said he was my godfather. Panthers needed a place. I told him, Black Panthers we need an office and we need apartment. And I know he had the real estate. And he says, is there money green? I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm going to do it. I don't like what they do, but, you know, because I don't want you to get jammed up. But he rented us the building, the whole building, okay? And we had our storefront down, and we had 2 apartments in the building on South Road, okay? Then I became the hero. I became the man, you know? But anyway, I got a little sidetracked in reading this here, all right? This was now in the 1970, the same year, 1970, and things was about ready to get hectic. I'm deciding what female I'm going to take with me to see the Jackson 5. I told my mother I threw all the money on top of her bed. So I'm counting it when she walked in. John Thomas had came over, and, you know, Mommy was hysterical and stuff like that. John was like, well, it happened, you know. get rid of the money, stash it. He couldn't even take all of my guns. You know what I'm saying? So then I called Becky. She was like a sister to me, an older sister. You know, she was a nurse, and you know she wound up coming by the car, and she took 8 pistols. You know, and then I called somebody. I called Mike, let him take stuff. So I spreaded it out because I just had a feeling. You know what I'm saying? That somebody might say something or whatever, and because of the shooting of the cop and the shooting of the teller, I knew this was going to be unlike anything else we ever did before. So with that, that's a little bit more information. I just paraphrased it because it's here and it's here. This is real stuff, okay? This ain't nothing I'm making up or whatever. All of this is like, yo, all of this is stuff that's written out, but in talking of it, I can relive it better and get it out to you. And don't forget, the name of this book is my autobiography, and the name of it is Revolutionary Gangsters. And hopefully one day it'll be a bestseller, and who knows, maybe a movie. But check this out. I also have 2 more books of my life in my mind that I'm ready to get out there. Okay, I'm going to be a successful writer, God willing, and put my story, because I have a remarkable and amazing life, and I'm not bragging or boasting. It's just facts and reality, and just me being here, you know, after being shot at and all this other stuff and going through warfare and everything. It's truly a miracle, and I'm thankful for my life, you know, and I value life now, you know. And there's 2 type of people. I'm gonna say this: people that like to kill, people that like to hurt. They get pleasure out of it. I've been around people like that, you know, and I try to keep away from them so I don't have to kill them because they trying to kill me. You know, I'm the type of person where I don't like violence, but I'm very good at it, okay? Martial art expert, 7th degree black belt, 7 styles of kung fu, jiu-jitsu, and karate. Even though I'm older now, I'm an old man now, but I still got it, okay? So don't be fooled by the tiger claw. With that, peace be with you, and salam alaikum, and I wish the best to all my beloved brothers and sisters. Take care. Talk to you soon.